Hello and welcome to Future Proof, the business television programme that has been running now for quite some time, and I'm coming to the end of Series 3. You'll see that there's a different studio setting here as I'm now recording these last two programmes 19 and 20 of Series 3, and I'm recording of course during lockdown, and I thought it quite appropriate to actually have a wall behind me, because many of us feel as if there is a wall around us, in front of us, behind us, or whatever. These are very, very unusual and difficult times. Some of our clients are actually doing quite well. There are those who are able to continue to manufacture in support of the government, but also I think bike sales are going very, very well at the moment, and there are many, many businesses which are having to furlough their staff, maybe furlough themselves, but also they have huge concern about the future of their business and what that means. I think we are all absolutely sure now that whatever happens when we come out of lockdown, it's going to be a very, very different world. Things are definitely different, and I think different for every single business. And so I want to use this opportunity, I think, to talk about some of the things that can hopefully help you as you're perhaps sat contemplating your future, thinking about what to do, or indeed this might be transmitted as we come out of lockdown. But whenever you're viewing this, we know that the world is going to be very, very different wherever we are actually on the lockdown, or the is it social distancing? I wish they wouldn't call it that. It should be physical distancing. Now is the time that we need to be as sociable as possible within our communities, our tribes, with our families and our friends. So I prefer to call it physical distancing, which of course is all important to everyone. Anyway, with business, the key thing that I want to focus on today is I think I want to start off with belief systems, because whatever we believe is true, and so it's very, very challenging, and there are many who are believing that their businesses are not going to survive, or believing that all their clients are going to drive up, or believing they're going to lose all their staff. But there are also those who are believing very much for positive outcomes, and those who actually are able to see a sense of a future will actually do quite well, even in a tough environment. And if I can direct you to a very, very good book, Viktor Frankl wrote about man's search for meaning, and he talked about his time at Auschwitz, and he actually said those who had a greater sense of meaning to their lives, and it could be I'm going to get out of here because the world needs to know what went on, or I need to get back to so-and-so because they need me. Those who could have a sense of purpose and meaning, and therefore, if you like, it's like a string pulling them up the whole time. So not, if you like, just relying on what's going on internally, but an external force pulling them up. Many who are faith-based and have thoughts about higher platforms will be spending time in that space now too. So man's search for meaning, Viktor Frankl says those who had a sense of a vision of what they were going to actually survived the longest, and that's what I want to inspire here. So whatever the doom and gloom may feel like, whatever people might be saying to you, or your internal dialogue, I want to, if you like, park that, not bin it, not ridicule it, not say it's not there. It is there, but if you like, park it, put it on the table, and then maybe turn and focus around what it is that you want to believe and what you want to see. So as you'll see, I've brought a flip chart into the studio, and I'm going to be putting some things up there. But the first thing I'd like to put up there is actually my husband's website and email address, because we do have some free resources that you are able to access. So for those of you who don't know him, my husband's name is Paul Hopwood, and his email address is paul@mindshop.co.uk. you can email and ask for those resources, or of course his website is oh my gosh, it's so long since I think it's Paul Hopwood Consulting. If you Google his name, then you will see it. But we have a number of, and I think that's .co.uk again, we have a number of resources that can be helpful to you. So do go and have a look at those, and some of it is online training as well. Some of it you might have to pay for, but there's also some free stuff as well. And some of the training modules that we have is leadership and eliminating waste. This is a prime opportunity for you to look at your business processes, look at maybe your setup, your physical setup in your business, and where have you been experiencing waste. And waste can be found in many different forms, from waiting time to too much stock to where people have been positioned. And the big thing that's coming out of the experience now is businesses who really felt as if they couldn't have staff working from home, and this environment is certainly proving that wrong. But we also know from our clients that particularly we are of the older generation, so particularly some of the younger generation are really struggling to focus whilst they are working at home. They're struggling to actually stay on their target, if you like, and distraction is a big issue. So that leads on to solving problems and how to do that, and also about time management. What would you do if you had more hours in a week? And working from home, the most important thing is, I would suggest, a routine of some sort, because if you're not careful, because the office merges into the kitchen, into the lounge, before you know where you are, you'll find that where you might have had breakfast and done your morning exercise, for example, and then found yourself in the office by 8-9 o'clock, you're now realizing it's actually knocking on towards 10-11 o'clock and you haven't even got into your office mode yet. So having a sense of routine can really help, and hold yourself accountable. Not just hold yourself, tell other people what your routine is, so that they will hold you accountable and say, oi, I thought you said that you would have had your breakfast by now, for example. This is a great opportunity for creative thinking, and that's not just your own creative thinking, but also you can maybe give your problem to people around you and ask them to think creatively. I do know that businesses before have sent staff out for a walk along the beach, or sent them out into the countryside just to explore creative thinking, and you have that now on your doorstep. Many businesses have had creative thinking rooms, from light displays to pictures and paintings, inspirational pictures and paintings, to help people tap into their creative thinking. And you can do that now. The great thing with creative thinking is do it on your own first, and then if you can, share your ideas with other people and see what they have to say. Research has shown that often people walk away from a board meeting and say, everybody shared their ideas, wasn't it great, didn't we do well? And yet the research showed that had those people thought creatively on their own and then brought their ideas into the boardroom, they would have ended up with much more material than all of them brainstorming together from the start. So stay with me as I continue talking about how to cope during lockdown, or indeed coming out of lockdown, and the all-importance of belief systems, which I'm going to say more about in just a moment. But please keep hopeful, keep positive. EQ, emotional quotient, is better known as emotional intelligence. It is a tangible tool that can sit alongside your services or your product, and it can be taught. Leaders with high EQ have less stress, they're more effective, and they earn more money. There's a great saying, just because we have pains, it does not give us permission to be a pain. I believe that teaching emotional intelligence has a direct impact on your sense of success and your net profits. EQ will empower you and your workforce to drive the change that you want. Change brings transition. EQ can help unpack what's holding you back and speed up that period of transition.